we started Jason Roks. I'm a volunteer at Wireless Toronto, one of the founding members. We started back in about 2005, following Meals on Fuels model, using Wi-Fi dog. Similar objective. Most of the people involved with the project who founded it were coming from it, not from an access point of view, but for providing, it was all about the captive portal for us. My personal observation was people were going heads down into a cafe, and the social aspect of our community was falling apart, and I wanted 1 second to remind people where they were. And if that was the deal, you could have Wi-Fi or access to the internet if you look at our page of what's going on in the area. So we started that, and we focused on public spaces. I'm doing a PhD in the University of East London, and my work is on public infrastructure. So I've been doing a lot of research in mobile and Wi-Fi in terms of why do some cities grow in Wi-Fi and what others don't. And I seem to be able to find a good correlation between the culture of that city and whether they share or not, whether they're a financial center or whether they're an art-based city. I mean, there's a lot of different cities out there, and the cultures, I find, really define whether you're going to find a lot of growth in open wireless. Toronto is not one of those cities, we found out. So we've had struggles trying to get a lot of our vendors who provide the backbone access, the internet access, to understand what we're trying to do. They seem to not understand the big picture of the value to their business. Whereas a place like Montreal, they seem to be a little bit more understanding of how wireless supports and enhances the culture and the society and the community. So again, we focused on public spaces. So we do, we have the largest outdoor spot, the largest indoor spot in Canada. We did Duck and Go Park. We just started putting mesh in there now. We're currently hotspot based, but we're moving towards mesh, but we don't want to do it too quickly. We, again, are an all-volunteer group. We did have a board for a while. This last year, we dissolved the board. We found that going back to a more grassroots model was better for maintaining our volunteers. When we went to the board level, a lot of our high-level discussions did not end up going on to the mailing list. And we found overall that we lost touch with our volunteer community. The network's not growing very quickly. Our objective was to make sure that it stays up for a long period of time. So rather than rolling the dice and building more nodes with the cash that we have in the bank, we decided to make sure that the nodes stay up and are guaranteed to be up for the next 5 years. Let's see, what else do I have to say about Wireless Toronto? Challenges we've had, again, have been no support from the government at all. Confusion when they launched so the City of Toronto launched an effort called One Zone, which was in the downtown core area. And a lot of they made it free for like 6 months, and then they started charging for it about the same price as an ISP. Nobody used it, the city sold it, but a lot of people in the city thought that that's what we were. So we had a lot of confusion, difficult to overcome. The things that we found were difficult, because we were portal-based, it was all about what was provided in the area, and there was no location-based content out there to really aggregate. Upcoming provided a bit, Flickr didn't even have the geotags in. But over the last 2 years, location-based data and RSS feeds have made it a better opportunity to start to exploit location-based information. I've kind of stepped away from Wireless Toronto after the board was dissolved because I'm not in the city anymore. I just travel around the world doing my research. So I've taken some of the things I learned from Wireless Toronto, and I'm actually starting another network in Buenos Aires this winter called bawifi.com, but with some of the things I wanted to do with Wireless Toronto, which the members didn't want me to do. So Wireless Toronto doesn't do any advertising, doesn't take any partners, actually doesn't take any money at all. The sustainability model of Wireless Toronto is the yearly maintenance fee that we charge our hotspot vendors, and we built a lot of mobile wireless equipment that we rent out to anybody. We have a lot of conferences that will rent out our Wi-Fi backpacks that we have. I think just plugging the wall on stick somewhere, or we have ones that have battery packs. And that's actually done fairly well for us for bringing revenue into the money into the group. We're not even a nonprofit organization. We're still a club and an association. Not having full-time people, I mean, the idea of becoming a nonprofit and having to file taxes every year is just nonsense. I mean, you don't even have people to install the routers. So finding someone to then do taxes for us was a little bit absurd. So by registering as a club and association, it gave us a lot more flexibility to run it without any headache. The negative side of that is that it's difficult to apply for government funding and grants because we don't qualify under the way that they set it up. But in those cases, we normally will partner with another group to do that kind of stuff. So yeah, we'll partner to do that. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with Wireless Toronto. I started with Gabe Sawney and Patrick Dinham back in those days, and Gabe and I are still involved. Gabe maintains the network. I think he's been to your conference before. So we're talking about what to do with it next. We know the network's going to stay up. We're talking about how we can add mesh into it now. We did some mesh tests a couple of years ago, and we just found it was really flaky, and it was just too much work for us to maintain. When they switched from Batman to OSR, then everything seemed to work all right. Sorry. But yeah, it's working okay now. So as I said, I've taken what I did at Wireless Toronto, and now I'm going to start VA Wi-Fi. Again, it's a portal-based system, but we're not doing any logins and passwords. I'd like to use Off-Puppy when it fits with what I'm doing, but right now it doesn't. I did work with the Field this summer prototyping some of the work I was doing, and got to try it Off-Puppy, which is still, I think, better than Wi-Fi Dog because now I have control over my portal. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that would integrate with what I'm doing there. But right now we're just going open mesh. I have a relationship with a number of the restaurant, cafe vendors in a number of the tourist areas and wellness areas, and they're all on board to build not a wireless network. I sold it to them as a marketing campaign. So I told them I'm going to virtually market your restaurant. And I didn't tell them how.
You said earlier that the less you talk about Wi-Fi, the more you talk about marketing, the more successful you'll be. Yeah.
It's true. You find you end up trying to educate them. All of a sudden you become their textbook guy.
Let's just open up the question.
Let's see. One more thing we were doing is, when I point out that Toronto wasn't a good place to do Wi-Fi because it's a commercial center that just doesn't, they want to make money off of everything. Buenos Aires it's a perfect example of a culture that's shared. You can't go down any corner and not find open free Wi-Fi in Buenos Aires. The problem is, it's unreliable, you don't know who's, there's all these different names, which is why I'm starting VA Wi-Fi, which is a layer that's going to go on top of that to unite all these open Wi-Fis there. But now I don't have to go and convince someone that they should put a network in. Now it's all about just deploying, which has been going pretty quickly. I mean, I just was there last year, got sign-on from everybody, and we're launching this November, December. We ended up taking playing around with Auto AP a lot. We created this thing called a board box, boardbox.com. It's a analysis. Think of it like a wireless toolkit. We use the acumen router and just hack the crap out of it. Use Piranha and then started to add things into it. We're actually now adding mesh back onto it again. We've got a lot of analysis tools. So we park them out in certain areas to just monitor what's going on in the air, and then it feeds back just a big chunk of data over Gmail to us. And then we parse that and take a look at what's going on in that area. It also did a lot of other things in that we can use these nodes to find open Wi-Fi and then bring it back into our open mesh network as well. We're not sure what the legalities are on that. My position is that routers come default on security, so if they're open, I'm assuming the person wanted to share. So that's they can call my lawyer. So that's the two projects that I'm working on. That covers Wireless Toronto, and hopefully I'll be back here next time to tell you how successful VA Wi-Fi was. And if you don't